Good evening. As mentioned, my name is Dan Ewart. I'm the Vice President of IT for the University of Idaho, but I'm here today as the President of the Board for the Partnership for Economic Prosperity, or PEP. Just to remind all of you, although you probably already know, PEP is Latah County's economic development organization, formed through a collaboration of the city, the county, UI, the Chamber of Commerce, and private industry, including Avista. The PEP board consists of representatives of each one of those partners, but really our main job is supporting the activities of our outstanding executive director, our own Gina Teruscio. So these activities are multifaceted, but it really boils down to we want to be the resource for economic development in this county and to be the clearinghouse of information for anyone who is interested in retaining or expanding business here in town or bringing new business to town and to the county. So most of our focus is on retaining and expanding current business. But we've certainly taken the opportunity to work hard on attraction opportunities as they come out. And we got to make sure that those are right for Moscow or for Latah County. It can't just be that you're trying to attract any business to town. It has to be the fit for all the parties. So to promote transparency throughout our operations, which is really one of our fundamental core values, and to focus on the achievement of our goals, each quarter we do a quarterly report, and we provide that to all the partner members, and actually we'd be willing to provide it to just about anybody that wanted to see it or listen to it. What you have in front of you is the latest finished quarterly report, which is for October through December of 2017, although we will have a new one out soon and you'll be getting that. I'd like to take a few minutes to just point out some of the highlights in the report, but please don't look at it and think that it's the sum total of our activities that are going on. There's so much that can't be captured in a report, but I know that Gina and I would be glad to talk to you about any of those other things and answer any questions that you might have. So the report is organized. It starts with an overview. There's some key metrics that we've decided are good, and those will continue to grow and refine as we mature as an organization. And also provides a status on the deliverables that each one of the founding partners set up when PEP was organized. Each one of the partners had specific things that they wanted to do, but we also found some commonalities. So we'll talk about that in just a second. Excuse me. So just as an overview, and I don't want to read everything here that's here, we did relocate our offices to the Intermodal Transit Center on the University of Idaho campus, and I think that's been a good move. I think it's been very successful so far. We have submitted proposals for industrial properties in support of business attraction. We've worked with, we've signed up our second commercial member in First Step Internet, who is actually working hard to develop our website and the partner websites underneath that for each one of the small cities in Latah County, which is going to be a real added benefit to those small cities that simply don't have the ability to have that right now. It's pretty, as it says here, it's a pretty exciting time in Latah County, and we're pretty proud of that right now. So then if you look at the metrics section, it's real easy to just look at numbers. And it's important to see the numbers. The numbers represent meetings that Gina primarily is having across our county and across our state, honestly, in support of economic development. And those are good things to measure. But they're not the only things that we need to measure. One of the things that we really want to do, and we'll see these numbers of meetings rise as we go out into the counties and have some of these, have more of these meetings with the small cities. But we're also working very hard to develop what we're calling documentation on the economic development ecosystem of Latah County. This county, through the university, through the city, to all the partners, has so much to offer people in the way of information about economic development. Combine that with the information that we have at a state level and even at a national level about how to do economic development, it's an imposing amount of information. We want to be the resource for that information, to help parse that out, to be the organization that people come to, for Gina to be the person that people come to when they're interested in economic development so that they can get the information they need without having to wade through the internet worth of information on that particular topic. As we develop the documentation on this ecosystem, it's going to be extremely valuable for all involved. So you'll hear more about that at the next quarterly report, or read about it more in the next quarterly report. But I think that is going to be exciting. Because understanding all that's available lets us have a consistent path for how we go about economic development and a consistent level of service to the people who need it, be it people in our community or people that would like to come to our community. So I think you'll hear a lot more about that in the next quarterly report. From a deliverables perspective, in the document starting on page 2, there's a set of common deliverables. These are the deliverables that all of the partners decided were important when they formed PEP. We did a vitality report when we started PEP, and a second edition of that is coming out soon. But we're also doing a strategic planning process with the help of EMSI. And we're very excited about that because that's going to help not only the small cities to understand what they can do from an economic development standpoint, but our whole county and our city to be able to do that as well. As I mentioned EMSI already. We also provide weekly status reports or biweekly status reports sometimes when Gina gets to go on vacation. About the activities of the organization, and then these quarterly reports. And that constant communication, that transparency in activities was very important when we formed this. And so we're glad to do that. That said, if you look through this report and there's things that you do not see, or there's things that you would like to see change, Gina and I are more than willing to have those discussions with you. Our goal with this is to get the information that all of you need to continue to be the big supporters of PEP that you have already been. To jump to page 3 is that there are 2 specific deliverables for the city of Moscow. The first was to support and promotion of existing and future goals for the Moscow Urban Renewal Agency. That's going to be an in-progress goal, right? But one of the things that we did want to report is that there has been a lot of communication with the Community Development Department, MURA, CEDA, City Council, and others in order to promote the projects that are going on. So we want to continue that to be a focus. And then second is to provide the information to the city regarding grant opportunities that are available to the city and to PEP partners. And Gina's working closely with the Office of Technology Transfer on our campus that does a lot of work with grants in that area, as well as other organizations that can help with that. So those were 2 areas that were critical for the city when we formed PEP, and I think we're making excellent progress with both of those at this point. So I'm really proud of what we've been able to achieve. I'm even more proud of what we're going to achieve. I think we have a lot in the works right now. I hope you're interested in reading the next status report that will come out in the next month or so. I'd like to thank you for the time tonight, and I appreciate the support of the City Council, as I know Gina does, and I'd be happy to take any questions that you might have about our activities.
Well, Dan, I'd like to make a comment, and I'm going to ask for council input here, but the Partnership for Economic Prosperity, when we started discussing this several years back, and it became a reality for us, is so key for our entire county. And of course, Moscow is part of Latah County, and our Latah County are friends of ours as well. So how well we work together as a team, and I always talk about collaboration on multiple fronts, and this is a good example of that, Dan. And as we pull things together and can collaborate together, economic development throughout various phases is the engine of growth that we need for our entire county, not only this city, but all the small counties as well. So with that, I'm pretty excited. I'll take questions or comments from council.
I have a question. About retaining and expanding, can you give some specific examples of which businesses in the county or locally that I understand that everything's in meetings, but
I can't give you specific examples because many times we're in non-disclosure agreements with discussions about those. If Gina has some that she can share, that would be great, but I'm sensitive to much of the information that people share with us about this is their financials, their growth plans and things like that. So I want to remain sensitive to that and that trust that we have with them in coming to us. But Gina, I don't know if you have any specifics that you might be willing to share.
In the year that we've been doing this, it's been everything from I need an accountant to I need some help with somebody that can help me with my website to, just really basic things, all the way up to we want to expand, we want to hire, 15 more employees, and we need to know where we go to find that workforce, that kind of stuff. So it varies, as you may imagine, every time somebody walks in the door.
And Gina has formed what we call a TAC team, which is a support organization behind PEP that's made up of representatives from all the partners with specific skills. So, our own Bill Belknap is part of that. Jenny Ford, Eddie, a lot of different people are involved with that. So we're able to address questions when they come in, it's certainly in a multifaceted way, not just in what Gina knows, but in the total resources of the community. So I'm sorry I can't provide a specific answer to your question, but I think it's important that we be
Was
careful
that
with that.
specific enough?
That helps, and I just kind of I just need to follow up,
Sure,
just
go
to
ahead.
understand. So this, from when I came on, this was just getting started, and I realized that you had to start building relationships with community members because they hadn't heard of this before. But we have a 3-year timeline. Is that it?
So
For-
we have 3-year commitment and funding from the partner organizations.
Okay.
Yes.
And we're in year.
We're about a year and a half or so into
Okay.
that at this particular juncture. And so, next year we'll be having that very discussion at this meeting, and hopefully by then you'll have seen a number of quarterly reports. You'll have seen, outstanding progress in many areas that are important to the city, and then we can talk about the further support.
Okay. Thank you.
Yep.